Cool. Sweet. So yeah, so we just wanted to come here, and this session is going to be recorded as well, and just talk about a lot of the different use cases for the Boxom bulk ungate checker as well. Most importantly for you guys, talk through how, even from day one, you can find a lot of stuff you can auto ungate and sell right away. And not that ungating doesn't work, but just that it's awesome as a newer seller, that you can hit the 2K milestone, the 10K milestone, et cetera, without needing to provide documents on every product, right? So we want to talk through, okay, the best strategy for, in our opinion, for early 2026 is primarily do auto ungate items, right? But also knock out a big brand or two that once you get access to it, is going to let you sell dozens, if not hundreds of SKUs. So like only worrying about ungating big ones, big brands that have lots of stuff. And then eventually after 2K in sales, after 10K in sales, a lot more stuff starts to auto ungate and makes your life significantly easier. And this session's not just going to be on like using the bulk ungate checker, but it's going to be on foundational, like all things you need to know product research and everything. We're doing some live sourcing, some special stuff. Warner's got some Keepa product finder stuff I've probably never even seen before, right? That we're gonna dig in on here. And then things. So we'll just give it like another minute or two, and then we'll dig in and show a bunch of cool stuff. Also, there is a document that goes along with this that you can pull down there in the chat and follow along with. It's going to have a lot of good examples. If you're watching this on the recording, we'll have the doc in the email that went out to you. And if you're watching this on YouTube potentially in the future, it'll be linked down below too as well. Okay, yeah, a bunch of you guys pounced on that document immediately. Perfect. That is exactly what we were looking for.
Pretty open format tonight too, guys. So if you have any
Yeah,
questions, feel
super
free to
chill. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like just drop it in the chat there. We'll do some Q&A at the end too. We're happy to stay on as long as you guys want. We just want this to be a, really open and helpful session, showing you guys how your auto and gate sourcing can be significantly easier and more efficient now. Targeting using the bulk on gate checker here and everything. So let's see. We'll get started in a minute or so, Warner.
Yep.
Cool. All
Fire
right,
fire away
sweet.
when you're ready.
Sure. Yeah. And so basically, so I got some pre-ready stuff. Yes. Yeah, Levi. So the documents in the chat, right? And then it's also going to be on, yeah, it'll be in their recording. And if you end up posting this on the Boxom YouTube page, it'll be linked in there for anyone who's watching this recording on there. So you can follow along with this entire thing. So I got some pre-recorded stuff or not pre-recorded, but made stuff for you guys. But please, right, as we go, if something doesn't make sense, just drop it in the chat there, right? And then as you watch this, right, like you're going to see, we're going to talk a lot about the bulk ungate checker, but there's a lot more to Boxom as well. There's the feedback requester, the Boxom AI assistant. We're going to be talking to that a lot while we're doing some live product research. And everything. It's just going to speed things up. There's listing capabilities, there's shipping capabilities. If you're selling on Walmart and you want access to the Boxom Walmart beta, we can give you that too, and everything. So, yeah, without further ado, we'll dig in here. Warner, I just send you a request to screen share. And then Warner, if I explain anything terribly or anything like that, feel free to interrupt and everything, and we'll dig in here. So Warner and I are going to be breaking down a lot of Keepa charts, and just showing you guys how to do this stuff the right way. Cool. All right, sweet. Type a one in chat if you can see my screen here. Give me a one in chat if you can see my screen, guys.
Should be good. Yeah.
Boom,
Sweet.
perfect. All right, sweet. Yeah, exactly. Cool. So, in terms of tonight, right? So this is February 3rd, 2026, the first Boxom AutoUngate sourcing workshop, right? We're going to be primarily talking about how you can find leads you can sell from day one with no ungating needed. And then as we go, right, drop any questions you got here and everything. So in terms of what the bulk ungate checker actually is, so there's three main use cases for it, in respect to being as efficient as possible with this stuff. So the first one is just going through the suggested ASIN list that we have loaded up here. So right when you sign up for Boxom, you can go in and start checking ASINs just at the bulk ungate checker. It's in your inventory tab. And you can just hit suggested ASIN list. There's a preloaded list of like 1,800 ASINs that are already there. We're probably going to add even more to this here, but then you can just start to see what your account has. Typically, folks get at least 50 plus right away from the get-go. It can check up to 5 brands per second. Like I just got Campbell's Chunky Soup. We got KC here. Whatever this barbecue sauce is, ramen noodles, etc., right? and everything. So it's just going to work there. The second one, which is probably the most consistent use case for anyone who's newer, is in as your storefront stalking and seller amp, instead of just going, opening up, checking for AutoUngate, opening up, checking for AutoUngate, we can just copy these ASINs in here and just pop these bad boys in, right? And check them in bulk, say like every 10 ASINs or so. And obviously, you're not going to do ASINs from different brand, or you're not going to do ASINs from the same brand right here, but we can just pop open, and plug in, let's call it 10 ASINs at a time and knock out like a segment of someone's storefront, right? Because storefront stalking is the vast majority of the product research you should be doing as a beginner, right? And I can pop in a couple of these pet supplies too as well, right? And we'll go ahead and see. It's like, okay, are any of these bad boys auto ungated, right? We can literally just paste in these ASINs here, and then we can check them, and we can see, okay. So yeah, interestingly enough, okay, so these guys none of these guys were, right? But obviously a lot of stuff is, right? And once you hit 2K in sales, a lot more stuff becomes auto ungate. Once you hit 10K in sales, a lot more stuff becomes auto ungate, and everything right there. So that's very important, right? And then some of the kind of ninja stuff we're going to go into tonight, right, is uploading your own files of ASINs, where you can pull here. So what we're going to show you guys later is how you can take an auto ungate listing like this, where factually, if you go in and plug in this ASIN, at least when we're making this video for you guys, right? If you plug in this ASIN and then just hit new condition, apply to sell and request approval, it's probably going to ask you to watch a video, but that means something's auto ungated, right? But if you plug in a gap product, right, it's going to ask you for 10 units after you hit apply to sell and request approval, right? And that's something that's gated. Not that you can't get ungated, but you can just go ahead and submit the documents. But we love stuff when you're a beginner that you can sell for right away from the get-go here. Now, a big use case we're going to show you guys a little bit later is how you can literally go in and download. This is crazy stuff here. Literally every single ASIN these sellers have ever sold. So this is an auto-engaged product. We can download the historical ASIN list that every single person that's ever sold this product has sold. And then we can plug that into the bulk ungate checker with specific filters that say, hey, I want to check everything that's auto ungate that currently has 3+ sellers and 100+ sold per month, which guarantees that it's reseller friendly and sells quick today, not just historically, right? So we're going to talk about some of the basics of sourcing first, but that's the super cool, powerful stuff you can do with the bulk ungate checker outside of just basic storefront stalking as well. And then other ways that specifically on product research, Boxom can really help, along with other features like inventory, analytics, shipping, etc. Right? We can go in here and say, like, I want to figure out how to source, like how I can make items cheaper on JCPenney's, right? I can literally just ask the Boxy AI here, which is included in all Boxom plans, right? Like, can I make, how can I make stuff cheaper on JCPenney, right? Because I love buying Stafford and Gold Toe and Gloria Vanderbilt from JCPenney's here. And it's going to say like discounted gift cards and stuff and everything, right? So we can see, yeah, holiday sales make sense, right? Discounted gift cards, right? JCPenney has tax exempt, so you can sign up for tax exempt with them. And that's the name of the game there, right? And the Boxy AI is really helpful too for as you watch Warner and I's content, right? Explaining things that maybe we didn't go into perfect detail on for you, right? During this here. So like say like explain how discounted gift cards work for a new seller that doesn't understand, right? Like this is like having Warner and I in your pocket, basically at all times, 24/7 here, right? Included with your subscription, right? So in C, you buy store credit for less than its face value, right? So you buy a $200 gift card for 180, you save $20, right? And everything. So first things first. So we know how Boxom bulk ungate checker works. We're going to show you more sourcing methods for that later here, right? A couple Keepa chart examples here that are really important to go ahead and actually gauge the and understanding things. Because if you don't know what a good Keepa chart looks like, you're going to struggle, right? So the first example you need to know is what's going to be an eye peek and plane product. So this is going to be a Keepa chart where all the sellers got kicked off the listing here, or not, or close to all of them. So we can see this was cooking along fine right here, and then all the sellers just plummeted right there, right? Another example of something like that is this listing here, right? Where if we go to this guy, we can see all time here, right? This absolutely fell off a cliff right there. The interesting thing is this actually may not have been an IP complaint because the demand got so much better here that it could just be that the demand popped off. Right? You guys see how the sales rank got super popping right there? The sales rank plummeted. So what it could have been was this could have been in the news or something like that, or and it led to a big yes, yeah, Blaine, I'll post the doc again. Yeah, yeah, Warner got you on that. Yeah. So follow along on the document here, right? So yeah, very important, right? In that, you can go ahead and take a look here, right, and see the sales rank plummeted on this guy, which could have led it looks like it's either an IP complaint or the demand just went nuts. When you see something like this in general, avoid it here, right? So give me a one in the chat if you see and understand, what this IP complaint concept is, where the brand owner just kicked everyone off the listing, right? And it went to 0 or 1 or close to it. Right there. Yeah, so that's cool. Right? It's awesome seeing a bunch of new faces in here too as well. Like there's a bunch of folks we've seen before on coaching calls and stuff, but great to have a bunch of new names in here too as well. Okay, so that's an IP complaint example. The next one is going to be a price tanking example. So this listing here, we can see that you always want to take a look at the 3-month data on Keepa, right? The 3-month data on Keepa here, right? And then also too, in general, guys, it's a good idea to have these Keepa settings copied, right? So having just buy box, new third-party FBA selected. If you have Amazon as an option, click Amazon too. Amazon's never been on this listing, right? And later in the training, we're going to go over some super important rules for that stuff too, right? So just copy these settings here. We can see that in, late January or late December, early Jan, it was like 56 to 52, and now it's all the way down at like 40, right? So this is an example of price tanking, which we want to avoid, where the price went way down, which is typically a byproduct of the competition going way up, which we can see was the case on this listing too, right? So I get asked all the time, how much competition is too much competition on a specific item, right? But there's amazing listings that have 100 sellers, and there's terrible listings that have 2 sellers, right? And it all just comes down to the trend, right? So this is an example of there being too much competition because the competition went from 8 up to 30 plus, and it took the price from 43 down to like 37 here, right? So this is an example of too much competition. So this is another example of the type of item you want to avoid, right? Another example of the type of product you want to avoid is stuff that's too slow moving, right? So this item, for example, here, right, is very, very blocky and slow and doesn't really sell, right? And what's interesting actually is this listing does have a pretty good sales rank, but it's a listing that has a bunch of different colors, a bunch of different sizes. So what you need to keep in mind that when an exclamation point shows next to the estimated sales, that's the estimated sales for all the variations combined, not that specific variation. But the Keepa chart is always variation specific, right? So that's very important, right? To keep in mind that this here is an example of something that is very slow moving, right? And the type of thing you want to avoid. So if you can't really see any offer count movement on the bottom Keepa chart, it's something you want to avoid. You need to make sure that you only have the new offer count selected right here, right? There's like it's not one size fits all, but that's the way I like to have my Keepa settings here. So this is another example of a bad product, right? Any questions about any of the bad items we just took a look at, y'all? We're good to go there. Good to go. Keep moving here. Um, the box AI is something you have to buy as you only get a small amount of AI credits. The credits are expensive for newbie. And that's the thing too. Like it's trained off our content. You know what I mean? It's trained off our content. So like you're gonna find a lot of the answers to that stuff in there as well. But you don't have to do it. You don't have to use the AI more than the specific credits, What if a product is like a month old? Yeah, honestly, in a month you still get in a month you still get enough you still get enough data to gauge if something's good or not here. In only a month.
A lot of times
To be honest.
they'll be like viral stuff too if they're like a
Facts.
brand new product.
Good
The
point.
big
Yeah,
thing
very good
is
point.
like it's pretty common to see that like if it's a super new listing to see the price drop. So usually I'll buy if the profit's like really good,
Yep.
but I wouldn't do anything that's like 30 ROI that like just showed up basically.
Yeah. Yes, girls power. This recording will be shared. What do you mean by blocky graph? Yes. Okay. So here we go. Those of you guys that are in my coaching, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So bad, blocky, right? Doesn't really move much, right? Blocky, ugly, doesn't really sell. And then this guy is decent, right? We got some activity here, right? And then this guy is fast moving. The trend actually isn't that good here because it is going up a little bit, but this is fast moving here. So this is what you're looking for, right? You want to see that activity there. So it's like fast moving, decent, terrible, decent, fast, decent, terrible, right? Yes, yes, good. Yeah, KT is a very good question, right? Because that's something that can totally be confusing, right? So we did 4 bad items. Now let's look at 4 good items, right? So we did 4 bad items. Let's look at 4 good items. So this first one is an okay item. It's decent, right? We rock and roll down here. It's not bad. I got 50 sales per month with no exclamation point. So I know that's just for this product, right? And I can see like it's not a bonkers mover. Like a really, really good item is like 300 plus per month or 500 plus per month, right? But this is decent. The competition's trending down. The price is nice and steady. This is not a bad mover whatsoever, right? Not a bad movement whatsoever, right? And then this is a gorgeous item chart here. This is a beautiful chart here. Is this guy? And don't go buy the items you see in this video, obviously, right? It's just examples, but like this is a banger item where the price is rock solid steady. The offer count's moving like nuts, right? Very good example. So we can see this is okay and this is great. And it makes sense. This has 1,000 sold per month and this has only 50, right? So it makes sense there. You know what I mean? It makes sense there, right? So that's the name of the game, right? And then this is number 7 here is a Bolo Keepa chart. So this is something where it's volatile, but this made like a ridiculous amount of money for people in December. This was like one of the items of the year, right? And literally you can see like it had 100 sellers in November and it went down as low as 30 sellers in late November, early December, and then hit it again at the peak of Q4, December 14th, right? So if you're watching this anytime before November, great times are coming. Great times are coming. You have the opportunity to build all year, right? And everything to get to that point right there. So that's very important there. Christian says, when a product looks too good to be true and the Keepa chart looks amazing, but there isn't a lot of sellers, should you hop into it? I mean, yeah, like with a small test order, with a small test order, especially if it's FBM friendly, right? And the way you tell if it's FBM friendly is by hitting data and then buy box statistics on Keepa, right? And then seeing if there's FBM folks that are getting buy box, which there might not be, right? There might not be for that matter. There might not be. Let's see. Right? Sometimes this part of Keepa takes a little bit to load here. Right? So we can see. So this item is not FBM friendly, but it did have no buy box, and no buy box listings are automatically FBM friendly. Hence why this doesn't add to a total of 100. So this actually is FBM friendly. Why FBM over FBA? Because I mean, this time of year, like January to like October, you do mainly want to be FBAing the average product. But if you can see folks making money on something, you should FBM it too. There's no point in waiting 3 weeks to check in if you can sell it today. Profitably assume, of course, right? So that's very important, right? Very, very important here, right? And then an awesome trend item is right here. This is a beautiful trend. Look at that competition going down, price going up. Leon, you got to love it, right? You got to love it here, right? Competition going down, price going up. This is an example of beautiful trend here, right? So any questions on these couple good examples of items here, y'all? Sweet. All right, nice, nice. So we can see. So that's the basics. Warner, I miss anything on those Keepa chart examples?
Nope, think it makes
Cool.
sense.
Yeah, sure. Is the Keepa chart integrated automatically into Celeram? Okay, very good question from Levi. So you can see the Keepa chart here in Celeramp. It's just not like a huge view of it. So these are separate Chrome extensions. So this guy here is the Celeramp Chrome extension. And then this guy down here is the Keepa Chrome extension. And you need to download them separately in the Google Chrome store to make sure that they both show. Right? Yeah. So like literally the whole thing is just $100 a month total. So it's Keepa, SellerAmp, and Boxom. Keepa actually just raised their prices. SellerAmp and Boxom are the same they've always been. Right, SellerAmp 20, Boxom 50, Keepa 30 now. And everything. But the two like really essential ones would be SellerAmp and Boxom. Keepa is great though, and is very, very helpful. Right there, cool. Okay, so now the most basic way to source, guys, and the way most of you guys to be sourcing, right, sub 10K month revenue is going to be storefront stalking. And storefront stalking, a lot of you guys have probably seen it before, but it just gets easier using the Boxom bulk ungate checker. So the way we literally go ahead and do that is select this item here, right? Is probably an AutoUngate for that matter. A lot of vinyls, a lot of books are. So let's just go ahead and open up the sellers that we know are making lots of money. So like that have like 25 plus reviews here, right? So let's say 120 reviews, right? 190 reviews, right? Right here, right? And we can see like taking a look at these big brands that show up at the front, the fastest selling stuff, these probably aren't going to auto and get. Actually, no, some of them won't. But we can go into stuff like tools and home improvement, CDs and vinyls, grocery and gourmet, especially once you ungate the grocery category, books, and we can see like, okay, let's take a look and see if any of these bad boys auto ungate. So let's copy and paste a couple of these into the bulk ungate checker, maybe 5 ASINs at a time here, right? And we can just copy and paste these bad boys over here, right? And see if any of these Johns auto ungate, right? And then we'll just go ahead and look up the ones that do, right? And anyone who's been doing this for a while knows how much easier and how much less clicks that is than just going into a bunch of random stuff here, right? So let's pop in these couple vinyls here and we'll see what's up. See what we got. Boom. So let's see here. And then I'll do one more just for good measure. Let's see. All right. So let's see. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, let's see. So I bet you like half of these auto engate here. All right, let's go. Let's check, take a look here. So let's check ASINs. Boom. All right, so it's right about accurate there, right? So a couple of these bad boys gated here, right? Not that we can ungate them, right? But they just happen to be gated currently, right? Yes, yes, Alicia, you're skipping ahead. I like that. Yes, yes, completely right. Completely right. You're absolutely spot on with that. We're gonna get to that a little bit later, right? We're gonna get to that a little bit later, but you're spot on, right? And then it's like, okay, these ASINs I pull from here, they're auto engate, and let's pop these up and check if any of these bad boys are profitable here. So we just click all their names, right? And let's go ahead and see. Okay, so I know I can sell these. Right now, what I want to do is just pop down here and take a quick glance at the Keepa chart, see if the Keepa chart looks good. This one, Amazon has the entire buy box. So this one I don't like, right? This one, ooh, this is a good looking chart. Good looking chart. I'm definitely going to price up at 30 here as well. I'm not going 27. I'm greedy. I want that lowest FBA, that prime bump, right? So if everyone FBMing is selling at 27, I need to price at 30 FBA, right? So I'm going to update this on SellerAmp here to 30. And then I'm going to go ahead and see on Google here, okay, do any of these bad boys, or is there anywhere to buy these profitably? Just hitting the Google button here on SellerAmp. Okay, and we can see that this is way off here. We can buy these boats for like 25. So like obviously not everything's going to be good here, but let's keep moving, right? This guy here, that's a good looking chart too. But unfortunately, guys, this has the generic brand here. So this is something we got to avoid, right? Because this opens Amazon up to like, it's something along the lines of like copyright issues or something like that, and everything here. But we take a look at these guys here. This actually is profitable, right? But assuming this is hardcover, this is profitable. But because it's a generic brand, we would have to avoid this, right? So this actually is totally profitable here. It's like 1634 here. So 1634, right? We're close. And then we can discount a gift card our way there too as well on the homies over at Card Bear. So we can see 9% discounted gift cards here. Take that off. Those are super easy to use here. And we can see, like, I know that's not a perfect lead, but it's like a good start. I mean, don't, it's generic brand, so you would have to avoid this here. But profitability wise, this is damn close. Books don't really get returned super often. Like, you typically want 30% plus ROI. Yeah, hey, Christian, come on. Yeah, Card Bear doing miracles. You feel me, right? You feel me here. So, like, okay, for all intents and purposes, Warner, I'm sure you'd agree, right? That's not a bad second item to look up for a sourcing session as a complete beginner, right? Add the red. Hey. Game is being dropped in the chat. Game is being dropped in the chat. Good point. Add the target red debit card. These little intricacies you pick up on over time, right? That stacks with gift cards. And boom, bang, right? And then I'll put you guys on some serious game pretty often, once a month. Target does a buy two, get one free sale. And then the items are even more profitable, right? So we can see, we can take a look at like 37 here. Okay, this is actually one of the, yeah, this is another generic brand here, right? So we can see this guy's not going to be good here, and the price is not looking great there and everything, right? But we can see, like, there's a bunch of other items here to take a look at, like these guys here. I think this was one of the gated ones, but it should be profitable here. Yeah, 31 here. Yes, like this actually is good from Target when that sale's on, right? Because take a look. This is so important with OA sourcing, right? For the first orders on Prox, look at what quantity. Yeah, so typically 5 to 10. Good question from Eric there in terms of quantity. Typically 5 to 10. So this guy here is at 32. So this is what most beginner sellers here, guys, see. They see buying for 32, selling for 42. Crap, that's not profitable, right? But you don't really find items good, you make items good, right? You don't really find items good, you make items good. So if I wait for that sale to turn on, which is super easy to do, you just check the website once a day, then you make a couple $1,000 each month once it turns on. Now I take this off, I take the discounted gift cards off, and I take the Target card if you do take the time to get that, which if Target's one of your favorite suppliers, you do. And now this becomes a beautiful, profitable item, right? But it's just not like you don't really find items good, you make items good, right? And that's the name of the game with this stuff, right? It's the name of the game with the stuff right there, right? So drop a one in chat if that makes sense, and please ask any questions, right? We don't really find stuff good, right? We make stuff good, right? And pretty much every website has one or two tips and tricks that make the numbers work, and the Boxy AI can be super helpful with that. So it's like, okay, tell me any ways I can make items cheaper on Kohl's, right? And then it's going to spit back to me, right? And it's going to say like gift cards and Kohl's Cash, right? And yeah, look at that, rewards, boom, right? And then you go through here and everything, right? It's like, what websites do you have specific knowledge on their discounts? Give me a bunch. I'm an OA beginner, right? The Box AI is cracked because it's trained off a ton of Warner Nice content. What's the best way to save items in SellerAmp to wait for sales? The SellerAmp Google Sheets. Yeah, SellerAmp Google Sheets for sure. Yeah, Google Sheets definitely. Yeah. SellerAmp Google Sheets are very, very helpful. Right there. So yeah, look at that. So Target, yeah, Walmart, right? Cool. Okay, it's not yeah, Dick's Sporting Goods. That's actually perfectly accurate, right there, right? And everything you see like it's plugging off here and everything. Right. So yeah, cool. All right, sweet. So that's the basics of storefront stock, and Warner's going to show you guys some really cool stuff. It's also using AI to source too. So talking to the Boxy AI as you go, right? And then also just some kind of ground rules before Warner shows you guys some more advanced stuff here too. Is pretty much every website has one or two tips and tricks that make the numbers work on them, right? So what you kind of just do is you just go down the checklist of my bad, we'll call that forgot discounted gift cards. Discounted gift cards here. You go through the checklist when you're sourcing from a site to see like, okay, how can I make stuff cheaper here? Right. And that's going to be stuff like using tax exempt. So using your reseller certificate on sites like Kohl's, or sorry, not on Kohl's, on sites like Walmart, Lowe's, and Home Depot, right? Or some websites have a sign up code like Dick's Sporting Goods If we go to the bottom here, right, Dick's Sporting Goods here, right, if we rock and roll down to the bottom, right, we can see there's a nice sign up code for us here, right? And then I also love stuff like Capital One Shopping and Coupon Birds, these free cashback extensions, right? Holiday sales and holiday discounts like that Target one I just mentioned. Awesome rewards program, right? Yankee Candle has a great rewards program, right? So the Boxy AI generator is like having Uncle Flips 24/7, 365. Yes, yes, that's what I'm saying right there. That's what I'm saying right there. Yes. Um, a rewards program, subscribe and save, right? VitaCost, great example of subscribe and save. A wholesale program, right? A lot more OA websites than you think, a lot more RA retailers than you think. If you ask them, we'll sell you in bulk, right? And then discounted gift cards on cardbear.com too as well. So like how you do this here is say we want to find what discounts Home Depot has, right? You literally just Google, okay, first things first, Home Depot tax exempt, right? Boom, they take it. Then I need to go and I need to click around a little bit on homedepot.com and see if they have a sign up code, which if we scroll to the bottom, okay, great, $5 off. What? Not much, right? We can check the extensions, Capital One Shopping, see if they got it on there, right? Then we go to as well, cardbear.com, see if there's any good discounted gift cards. Hey, let's get to it, right? And before you know it, if you're living in Los Angeles, you're paying 10% sales tax. You figured out they take tax exempt, take off 10%. You figured out they take discounted gift cards, take off another 5%, right? Some sites have a 15% sign up code like Yankee Candle. And before you know it, your buy cost is so much different than the new sellers you're competing with. And that's why, you always hear us say you don't really find items good, you make items good, right? You don't really find items good, you make items good, right? And everything. So that's super important as well. And then just some kind of pro tips for sourcing. So don't automatically avoid private label suspected items because everything that says private label on SellerAmp, it just automatically shows that when it has low competition. So you just need to see if the brand's dominating it or not, right? Don't automatically avoid IP listings on SellerAmp. Verify on the Keepa chart if there's actual IP complaints on any listings in those brands. Don't automatically avoid no buy box, aka suppress listings, right? That's very important too. Don't automatically avoid no sales rank listings. There's a lot of gems with no sales rank that do have a good Keepa chart, right? Don't automatically avoid no estimated sales listings. If the offer count movement is good, it's likely good, right? Don't automatically avoid high sales rank listings in big categories, right? Stuff like shoes and clothing, there are phenomenal 400, not phenomenal. There's very good 400K rank listings, right? Leon says Walmart, etc., adding tax end of purchase when we check out these price without tax. Okay, great question. Great question. So the price that shows on the retailer does not include tax. And what you should do in your SellerAmp settings is ideally, or you have to do one of two things, but some of you guys definitely calculate tax twice by accident, right? So if we just open up a product here, like Bauer here, right? So if you have your sales tax at 0, like I do, then you need to make sure that that shows in the buy cost, right? You need to make sure that you add that in the buy cost if you have it at 0 in here. But if you have your tax in here, then you need to make sure that this price does not add tax in it. Some of you guys accidentally count tax twice, and you might not even know it, right? So you need to check your SellerAmp settings and verify here, right? And see, am I charging tax twice? Because if you're doing 25 plus 8.25% here, right, you're going to be counting tax twice and not even knowing it and handicapping yourself heavily, right? So basically, check the Keepa chart for everything and don't automatically avoid unless the Keepa chart's bad. That is exactly right, Chris. Exactly, right? If the Keepa chart's bad, you're avoiding it, right? If the Keepa chart's bad, you're avoiding it here, right? And then also, so Warner's going to hop on and spit some really, really neat stuff here. I might even have some more depending on what he gets into, but Boxum's not just the ungate checker, guys, right? Included in every subscription, you can do all your listing through Boxum, all your FBA shipments through Boxum. There's the feedback requester. There's the Boxy AI. There's Walmart is in bulk, right? Walmart here. If we just go to new shipment here, right? You can see my account already displays it. If you want access to the Walmart on Boxum, just shoot me a DM or Discord DM or email or hit me up on IG, right? And everything. So there's going to be a lot of cool stuff coming to Boxum furthermore. And, we want to earn your business. We don't just want to be your bulk on gate checker, although it's going to work great for that too. It's going to make, save you a crap load of time and everything here. So yeah, just on what I just went through. Does anyone have other questions here before Warner hops on? Felipe says, can I use Boxum if I started using a prep center, or do I have to create the shipping plans only through Seller Central? Yes. So a bunch of prep centers use Boxum throughout 2026. A lot more prep centers are going to start using Boxum. And yeah, if you're using a prep center and you're creating the shipments, you can totally do it through Boxum. And some prep centers already, and many more will soon, have Boxum as the software they create the shipments through. So yeah, if your prep center just says send the labels to you, you can completely do that and get those ready through Boxum. And it's going to be a significantly easier experience to do that for listing, for shipping, and then on your end, managing your business, right? All the analytics, I forgot to even write that. Feedback requester, Walmart is going to be on the same subscription. And everything. Boxum is so go to. Yes. Yeah, Felipe, of course. And seriously, thank you guys for coming too. Like, Warner's going to blow your mind here with some more advanced sourcing stuff here and everything. But yeah, you want to hop up here, Warner?
Yeah, let's get
Cool.
after
All
it.
right. Sweet. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Sweet. Let me pop my screen up here
Sure.
and
Yep.
let me know if you guys have questions and stuff as I'm diving in. Mostly want to show you forget Aaliyah or somebody was already kind of
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
using
Alicia was ahead of the
uh
game there. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Some bulk Keepa strategies here. So let me dig in a little bit with you guys. Sweet. So you should be able to see this listing. It's just like a random product I picked because it is a JCPenney listing. And I want to show you guys just like a couple ways to sift through all these new auto-ungated ideas just like way faster. Um, so let me make sure I can see chat and stuff. And feel free to unmute and stuff. I like talking to you guys, not just reading text off the screen and stuff. But let's dive in. So all I want to do is say, hey, similar to standard reverse sourcing that we're doing. Hey, this is obviously from retail stores, St. John's Bay, JCPenney brand. I want to easily figure out all of the different brands that these people carry that I could carry in my own store, right? So I just want to open any of these stores. Looks like this person has like 400 feedback. And I want to grab that storefront ID and then go ahead and go over to Keepa, and then just click product finder. I don't want to filter anything. All I want to do is just take that storefront ID, go ahead and pop it down here, paste that store ID right there, and that's going to show me everything they currently sell. Also, a really good idea to include everything they have sold in the past, because obviously, just because they're sold out means, hey, it might actually be better than something that they still have in their inventory. So we can go ahead and grab that. Just so it doesn't take like forever to load, I'm going to limit how many items show up. I would again recommend just importing as much as you can, because all I'm really interested in here is a list of ASINs that are sold by people that are currently my competition. If you have any listings you're selling or could theoretically be your competition, if you're getting into it, trying to look at these like retail store brands and stuff. Sweet. So we can go ahead and export that. Let me just pop back over here. Go ahead and upload that file. So I'll just upload all those ASINs there. It's going to start checking. And obviously, we're going to get that list of things that we know is good, right? We kind of broke that down. But instead of diving in and storefront stalking off of this, we can also just basically skim the top of the brand. So, for example, here's just like a shorter one that I ran earlier, and I want to see, based on seems like they're crushing on this brand. I want to see what they got going on here. So let me open that up on Amazon. I'm just going to swap out the ASIN right there. Just takes us to the right page. And then I just kind of want to get a feel for like what these products look like. So I'll open up a listing, see, who used to sell them. Does it look reseller friendly? So seeing this makes me think probably is pretty reseller friendly, just because there was quite a few sellers on it in the past. Yeah, looks pretty, price is interesting. Not really tracking a whole lot. But the do offer count's definitely like moving around and stuff, and it's not one, so we know it's like a nice and reseller friendly brand. So we could, storefront stock off this, and that's great. Or we can also just go ahead and head back over here and just like add some very simple filters that would be true about items we want to sell, right? And those things that would be true about the things we want to sell are, hey, this probably has a pretty good sales rank, under 150K or so. Very basic. Make sure it has, a couple third-party sellers and so on. But it is going to be pretty straightforward because all I really want to do is grab the best stuff in this brand. So I'm going to take that brand name, pop it in over here, and let's see. So there's 201 of these products that meet all the criteria that are true about products that I want to resell. Because I'm also filtering for things about like Amazon not being on the listing, not being like super heavy, that kind of thing. So let's go ahead and see what we got of these. And it looks like a lot of these are like on the cheaper side. So another thing I would suggest doing if you take advantage of this is to filter out things that are like super cheap. Just out of curiosity, I want to look at like two of these, just get like a general feel for what they're charging on some of this. Let's see, like this one, $6. Okay, so knowing that, let's search this one too. I just want to figure out like what's kind of the baseline price of a lot of the stuff that's in this brand, basically. All right, seems like $6, maybe $5. Okay, so if I'm buying stuff for $5 at the cheapest, maybe like 450 after a coupon, what do I need it to be? So to make my like ideal $3 profit, it's pretty much right at $14. The reason I want to figure that out is that now I can say, hey, anything that's less than that, I'm gonna have a really hard time making profit on. So just get rid of all that. And nice and easy, we took 200 products down to the 11 that we're actually more interested in kind of getting after. And I'm also gonna check out just like some of the more like expensive ones just to start. And if those are good, then we might as well dig deeper. If they're not, it's a pretty good sign that there's just not a ton of potential in the brand. Let's check this one out. Is that 20 right there? Okay, it's 20 on Amazon. So we need like a sale or something popping up. It's eBay for $10. Definitely don't want to do that though. Is it this one? This gilded eyeshadow. Terra. We'll just need to match a color or something. No, there's like a weird like purplish down there that's not in this one. So I think it is that one that was like $20. So probably want to skip out on that one. Let's see, like a 3 pack. What color is this? 3 pack of all natural. What's this one? All natural. Okay, cool. Could be onto something. So 649 times 3. And then, like we're talking about, that is not where your profit should stop. The first thing I always check is discounted gift cards because it's usually kind of the most prevalent. And yeah, we can go digging on these. Let's see. That says it's an in-store. Make sure they're not all in-store. Okay, email delivery on these, which is good. And we can get like $100 gift cards, 13% off. I just don't like messing with the $10 ones. Sometimes like the best discount rate will be like a $5 gift card. It's like this, $13 or 13%. So even though it was already profitable, there's no reason not to pad our margins a little bit more. So let's just go take that 13%. And then we can also check and see if I don't think Ulta has like a sign up code or anything like that. Special offers, yeah. I would let's see, can you list products that you buy 10 units of? Will that ungate a greater product list? Yeah, so like when you ungate like a category, you'll get a bunch of the things in that category, but you're saying like groceries, so you might not be able to sell Starbucks, but you could probably sell a lot of like more like less popular, like small to mid-sized brands. And that'll be like a bunch of the auto ungates and stuff that pop up. What's up, y'all?
Yeah,
Brucer,
yeah,
Rich,
we were
what
going
you
to
got?
ask about when it popped up with that Capital One spend
Hmm.
50 and get 50 in rewards right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that very good? Does that really work or
It would. It's just not. You can't do it over and over again. I mean, it's a free 50
okay.
bucks, but like it's not. You can't like keep doing it forever.
Yeah, but the first time you can.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Might as well. Like,
I did that on some last night, but I didn't know how it works.
nice.
Does it not show up into your Capital One account for a while or something?
It'll probably usually like with cash back and stuff like that. Like it'll take like a couple weeks. I would assume it's
Okay.
the same thing. It's the
Okay.
same. I mean, if you want to take it, I just don't talk about it a ton because it's not like scalable. I usually want to do things
Yeah.
that are repeatable. But you can also do like credit card rewards. Like if you go through Amex or Capital One, like a lot of times they'll have like a hey, if you spend
Yeah,
500 bucks at this
Chase.
website, yeah, Chase has those
Yeah.
too. And they'll kind
Yeah.
of throw you a bone sometimes.
Yeah, and you use anything you can get, and then long term, as you mature, you start to find suppliers you really like that you know are very bulk friendly. You can also
Yeah.
build wholesale relationships with a lot of suppliers too. That's one of the most underrated things in OA is building wholesale relationships with your OA suppliers.
Yeah, I wasn't really looking for those, but they were just popping them up because I have the extensions, and I was just like, oh, I might as well take advantage of it, I guess.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, no
Yeah.
reason not to. Pamela, you said it took 3 days to show up in your rewards. Cool, good to know. Yeah, so yeah, if you're buying something at Ulta, like, get your free $50. Like, might as well. Yeah. Leon said, can you use as many discounted gift cards for one purchase? Yeah, most websites will have their own separate rule. Typically, it's either 5 or 10 gift cards per transaction. Sometimes you can just go for it. Um,
Yeah, Card Bear tells you on
cool.
most of them where oh yeah,
Yeah,
you're
right there.
literally that was incredible synchronicity right there. Don't even know if that's a word, but yeah, Card Bear will tell you in most cases. Um, nah,
Yeah, so like,
don't count cash back in margin to be honest. Yeah, yeah, bonus money. Bob, you're spot on with
yeah.
that, dude. Yeah, bonus money. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you'll never see us like load up Cashback Monitor and start like subtracting that. Even though that they're like you are correct. Like you might as well go get your 6% bonus. Right, it is free money, but I would say maybe 60 to 70% of the time, depending on the website, it'll pay out. Depends on how crazy bulk you go, that kind of thing. Sometimes they don't want to pay out a ton of transactions to a reseller, so you just don't want to like count on it being your profit and then it's not there and you're donating time to Jeff Bezos' new yacht or something. Let's see, got a profitable product. How do you know what website you should buy from? Yeah, so you just Google. So you don't have a profitable product if you don't know where to buy it from, right? Like you're not sourcing Amazon products. You're sourcing stuff from all across the internet. So I mean, it's profitable once you find a source for it, and that you just find that by Googling, like we just did, right? With this one, first thing that popped up, took us there. That is another good thing to take advantage of. In this case, we were getting it from Ulta. I see like here's the brand directly as well. Another good thing to check is always making sure you just have like the lowest cost as well. Um, like actually here, this is actually a good example because we can infinitely make coupon codes here, and I think this is full price. Yeah, um, we can infinitely make those coupon codes there and get 20% off. So actually, we should buy it from here because you have lower buy costs than that Ulta order did. So that's another one of those places where you can pad your margins a little bit. Is just kind of check that at the last second, make sure you got the best price. A good way to do that is to right click and then Google Lens search as well. It might be,
That's please do that more often. That is
yeah,
serious game. That's gonna make you guys lots of money. Yeah.
yeah. It might be, yeah, just because it's a 3 pack, it's a little bit confused on this one, but like you can see, it is showing me all these different options. So sometimes, especially with like clothes or shoes, just like things that are visually distinct, it might show you all the different places and just like a super quick way to even at the buzzer, like we were about to buy it from Ulta and search there, and maybe it shows up at the other website where you can get a coupon, that kind of thing. Only lets you do 4 of an item per order. Yeah, so you can just sort like so like this was the first thing we found in this brand, right? Probably some other gems in that list. You can stack, hey, I have 2 things I'm buying, 3 things I'm buying per order, and just make those orders as big as you can. Um, yeah, sweet. Okay, cool. Lots of good questions and stuff. But yeah, so that's like a super easy way to filter down all these like new brand opportunities that you're being fed. Um, Another thing that I would suggest doing, just as like just simple quality of life thing, you can go into Gemini and like this CSV we just got, just say, hey, give me all the brands on this, only the unique ones, because a lot of them will be duplicates. Like on this person's storefront, see like the first like 7 were all that brand, um, and then that's just gonna help me go back in and start figuring out which of these are actually reseller friendly. And we can use this to super quickly figure out which of these like have some resale potential. Um, I'll let that think for a second. I don't know why it's taking so long. The other thing I just wanted to put you guys on, if anyone of you guys do retail arbitrage, like this is a retail arbitrage find that I found. Um, I've seen it be really useful to find those new auto-ungated products, which is even more relevant when you're doing retail arbitrage, because obviously those retail receipts are not going to get you ungated. Got to have like these online invoices. So, we're buying from Milani here. It's going to be directly from the brand and, it's going to have your address on it, all that kind of stuff. When you're doing retail arbitrage, obviously not so much. You just have a receipt. So those AutoUngate brands are even more important. So next time you go out, if you're going out to retail stores, like this is something I found at TJ Maxx, and I tend to see a ton of the same brands at like TJ Maxx and Marshalls and that kind of thing. Really just the main theme is if you want to be, you want to break into a certain niche, retail arbitrage products, you want to break into, cosmetic products, just go to people who are already succeeding in that and then plug in their ASINs to the AutoUngate. So like this, for example, let's see, this person probably has some other retail arbitrage brands. Like what's this? Let's see. Actually, I've seen this exact product at a TJ Maxx before. That's funny. So that's definitely like a big part of their brand. Seems like they also do books. They probably just hit a bunch of stores while they're out. I've seen that brand at TJ Maxx and stuff like that. Again, so same exact thing. We're just looking for different opportunities. So instead of looking for these ASINs, figuring out the brands and plugging them into online searches, we're just taking the brands, say, hey, of the brands this person sells, let me write that down. And when I go back out to TJ Maxx, this TJ Maxx seller kind of already put me on some game. They're showing me brands that I should kind of be on the lookout for when I'm in store, basically. Um,
So
Sweet.
just one thing. Samsung had asked about mailing stuff out. Yeah.
My
So
Gemini's tripping.
oh yeah. So we have there's a bunch of good tutorials on the Boxom YouTube on how to do that. And then also too, we have good help docs on our website too. So if you go to boxom.com/help, you'll see that there. And then we also have a really, really good support team that's available at support@boxom.com. And then obviously Warner and I are super available too as well. So yeah, just a side note on the shipment side of things with Boxom. Yeah.
Yeah. My store ID is 123, Chris. There you go. Plug it in, see what Keepa gives you. That's funny. Let's see. When you do an RA, you can just start recording brands to check. Yeah, so like you can even like use any retard, like you can go watch a retard arbitrage YouTube video, see what brands were in that video, and then those sellers on those listings will be retard arbitrage sellers. Or just run out to your TJ Maxx, scan like 25 to 50 brands. It'll be in your seller amp history then. And then you can just like grab those ASINs and check those for auto ungates too. Come back and see what you have some potential to look out for next time you're actually out in store. Uh, Sweet. Let me see. Yeah, and then I don't know why Gemini thinks that Google Sheet is losing its mind. Oh, it's because I it's because I imported the wrong thing. That would be why. We need to import the report from Boxom. I imported the KPF. That's why. So this is the Boxom report that you can download after the fact, and this would have like all that information. And now it did what I wanted it to. And then just as like a top line view, if you want to figure out pretty quickly if these like new brands you're unlocking are reseller friendly, plug them into these same like similar searches where it shows me like, hey, this is stuff that would be good for me to sell. Just plug in that brand name and you can see, all right, this brand's a little bit reseller friendly. It seems like we got 52 things that meet that criteria. If you plug in, let me see if I can find one that I know is not. Pretty much, I mean, we scraped a reseller friendly store, so these are all going to be reseller friendly brands. But if we do, I used this example recently, but um, like California Gold is like a private label of IHERB, not super reseller friendly. So if you just plug that in really quick, bird's eye view, you can see how much potential is in that new auto-ungated brand for your store. Or you just got to plug in the brand name there and see how many things of those brand sell well. And very importantly, how many of that brand has three or more sellers on average. Because if a bunch of it has one seller, it's probably private label and gotta stay away. Sweet. But yeah, that's kind of the more advanced stuff I wanted to dive into with you guys. If you have like questions, we can pop all this back up, of course. But yeah, let us know
All
what
right,
other
sweet.
questions you
Yeah.
guys have.
Sure. So one more thing, and then we'll do Q&A to finish off too.
Cool.
So one more thing on that was a bunch of good KPF stuff. One really good applicable use case too that I personally love for this kind of stuff is when you find like an AutoUngate bolo. So when you find an AutoUngate bolo, you can come down here. And so anything that's AutoUngate, you can find a crap load more AutoUngates by going down here and hitting data and then offers and then hit include historical offers here. So data offers include historical offers here. And then you can export this gigantic list. If you hit only offer deep link and CSV here, we can download the lifetime list of all the sellers who have ever sold this here. And then I can take the seller IDs, literally this entire list. I'll just do a couple just to be quick here. We can take the entire list of seller IDs here and plug it into the Boxy AI and say, give me a list of seller IDs. So we can plug the link in here and then it's going to give me a list of the seller IDs, right? This is like super cracked for OA sourcing here. And all right, it didn't give me a per, like give me a list with no links. No links. Please and thank you, family. Right? But
The
hey, there
please
we
and
go.
thank you is for the
When
robot
they take
uprising in a
over.
few years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
They'll be like,
exactly.
hey, Miles said please and thank you.
Right. And so now, I didn't do the entire CSV, but this is now the seller IDs here. You could pull all couple hundred. You do pull all couple hundred when you do it on your own. And then we go to keep a product finder here. And now I want to see all the listings that any of these sellers have ever sold, right? That are good. So I just do Amazon out of stock here, right? And then I go down here and I do all the way to the bottom and find bought in past month and do 100 plus, right? 100 plus bought in past month just to look at stuff that's good today, good today, not good over time, or we don't know if it's good over time, probably is, but good today. That's the important thing. And then do 3+ sellers as well too. 3+ sellers here. We could even do 10 plus, etc. Right? We'll do 5+. And then we want to plug in those seller IDs, not where it says buy box seller, but where it says seller IDs, restrict your listings to results just from these sellers. And then we go in here, post those seller IDs, and hit include historical offers. And we can see now we have a list of 700 items, guys, that are sold by sellers who have already sold this AutoUngate product. There's probably going to be other ones in here that sell well today. They have 100 plus bought in the past month and have 3+ sellers here. So then I just search these results in Keepa, and then I go to 100 rows and make it 1,000 or 5,000, depending on how big the data set is, and then hit export once this loads here, right? And then I just hit export and pull this ASIN list, make sure it's only ASINs and CSV. Bang, pop these bad boys in here. And now I have this ASIN list of 700 ASINs here, right? That are currently being sold by sellers that have sold this AutoUngate product at some point in the past, right? And then now that is when I go in here and I hit back and then I copy and paste these ASINs in and then I get to work. So I get literally like a tailored leads list here now, right? Obviously, like some of this wholesale stuff's going to be gated, some stuff's going to be restricted, Bed Bath and Beyond, etc. Right. And then it goes into work, literally 5 brands per second here, cranking out stuff that I could sell today. So this is such a good way to do things when you're a beginner to find stuff you're approved for today. And honestly, I would do like 50+ bought per month just because AutoUngate stuff tends to sell a little slower. So don't do 100+ bought per month, do 50+ bought per month. Or you could just do 10 sellers minimum and a sales rank criteria. For AutoUngate stuff, honestly, the sales rank criteria might be even better, and everything. But that's the name of the game. So that's a really, really good tip, right there, is pulling a list of seller IDs from an AutoUngate ASIN historically, or grabbing the storefront links, then getting the seller IDs from Boxy, and then uploading those to Keepa and seeing all the listings those sellers have historically sold. And then it gets to it in terms of checking AutoUngates and everything like that. So that's a really good use case too, as well, guys. Sweet. All right. And by the way, too, I just want to give a big thank you to everyone that's here and active in the chat, watching the recording. This is exactly what we wanted this to be. And now we got some time for Q&A as well.
Christina knows game on the vinyls. I think that's only a Black Friday thing as far as the buy two get
I've seen
one.
it other months too, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's a
But
good deal.
I bet it's like
Rare
a
though. Rare.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
It's probably
Yeah.
like a
Very good point.
Memorial
Rare.
Day. I mean, what would you say? This is also good. Like, what are the big sourcing holidays? Memorial Day, Black Friday are like the biggest I can think of.
Yeah, I'll actually put a link in
Um,
chat of a good blueprint for the 2026 calendar. It'll be a Google Doc. Um, Google Doc there. But I mean, it kind of like if we just go through this guy here.
Honestly,
So
every Amazon Prime Day at this point makes
yeah,
amazing
which is
sourcing.
July and October, right? February, Valentine's Day, March, St. Patrick's Day,
Until
Easter,
we get
April.
monthly Prime Days, that is at this point.
Yeah.
There's an extra one every year. So
Yeah. And then Memorial Day in late May, Mother's Day in early May, Father's Day in June, back to school season starts in June too. And then July, 4th of July, July Prime Day, sales tax holidays. August is back to school, Labor Day, September, and August, depending on the year, I think. Halloween and October, Prime Day in October, and then early Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So that's a helpful doc too, as well, which I put in chat.
How'd you pull up the ASIN on Keepa? I mean, you just plug if for just one ASIN, just look at the Amazon listing and you'll see the
Yep.
charts
Yeah,
and
you can get
stuff.
it from SellerAmp.
For sure. Frontier co for grocery. Yeah, you don't even need to like overthink ungating with like the like a big wholesale supplier and stuff. You can, but honestly, for pet food and that kind of stuff, I would just use like PetSmart or honestly like directly from the brand's website. If the brand's website sells stuff, that's always like been the highest success rate from what I've seen. Like if you
Oh,
wanted to sell those Milanis, if those Milanis we were looking at together are gated for you, if you buy it, ooh, nope, no sneeze. Okay. If you buy it directly from the brand's website, that would probably be your best bet. You meant the bulk ASIN? Yeah, so yeah, here I'll just real quick, right? So um just take the store ID of whoever you're wanting to grab the products for, go into Keep a Product Finder, and then just pop the store ID right there. And then you're gonna see all the stuff that they sell right now, or you'll see all the stuff they've ever sold right there that meets the other search filters. In this case, is none. So that's they've in the lifetime of this seller, they've sold like 3,000 products, which is a lot of sourcing when you think about it.
yeah.
They've been getting after it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Okay. Do you have a video on creating shipment F&T labels? Yes, I just put a link in chat to the Boxom YouTube. And then if you want like it visual form, Boxom YouTube. If you want it in written form, boxom.com/help. The help documents on Boxom's website are very good
Yep.
as
Yeah.
well.
If you don't want to hear us yap and you can just read and figure out the gaps yourself, the website's really good.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And remember, guys, right? We got bulk ungate checker, right? We got listing, shipping, analytics, right? Feedback requester, the AI assistant. We got a bunch of good stuff, you guys, unbox them.
Retail arbitrage still viable? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Retail
hell
arbitrage.
yeah.
I assume you're talking like physically going to stores. I honestly, it's probably the easiest way to make like, up to a couple grand a month. If you want to do more than that, then that's where you do online arbitrage and that kind of stuff. Otherwise, if you just like the treasure hunt, then get after it. It's just yeah, I don't see a ton of people scaling it to crazy numbers. You can, but it's more of just like a good starting ground.
Yep. Absolutely. Um, for price you
Cashback.
recommend? There's a couple different ones. Like Flash Pricer, Aura, BQL. You can try it a bunch, honestly.
Yeah, go cycle some free trials and
Yeah.
and see what makes the most sense for you.
Ooh, Google Lens. If you right click or double click, you'll see Google
Yes.
Lens as an
Yeah.
option.
That's that's really important. Let
Yeah,
me
that's
pop
a
that back
banger
up.
tip. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
banger tip.
Like even on listings you've already found profitably, it's a super good idea to just do this, right? Just search with Google Lens. You're just gonna like hover over that area. And like this, for example, let's say you found it at Walmart and it was profitable for 774, and then you search at the last second and you see, oh wait, there's another source where it's a lot cheaper. I've seen that happen a lot of times, right? Where you just always want to make sure you're the cheapest buy cost on the listing. Easy way to make sure.
Yep. Any hurdle with Amazon's newer expiration date limits? I haven't seen that personally, Dana. Prep centers we recommend. So we don't have any formal like public relationships with prep centers. Our buddy Chris Grant at cleartheshelf.com has a good list you can check out though. Box them for Walmart. Can you also allocate those items in each box? I actually haven't looked at the Walmart flow, but I assume so, similar to Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah, and
works the
if you
same way.
guys want beta access to that, if you're anyone doing a lot of Walmart shipments, hit me up. Would be happy to load that up in your Boxum account.
Yep. Y'all can y'all can unmute and stuff too. We like talking to you
Yeah.
guys.
Sweet.
Uh,
Too as well. Yeah. So as if anyone has any final questions here, and obviously I know a lot of you guys are using the bulk ungate checker, but explore other parts of Boxum too. Feedback requester, AI, doing your listing, doing your FBA shipments, right? Stores to avoid is any stores that have bad reviews on Trustpilot and Google reviews, as well as anything like eBay, Facebook Marketplace, Poshmark, Mercari, any any marketplace websites. Items
yeah,
on Walmart that aren't sold and shipped by Walmart, but that
there's
are
more of
sold by
than
someone
you
else.
think too. Like I bought a bunch of something from Kmart a couple days ago and then realized it was from a third party seller. So we canceled the order. So just like pay attention.
Shit.
Like there's third party sellers on more and more websites every day, which is obviously good for us, but those docs are not going to hold up if you get like IP complaints or something.
How do I
Um,
message you for Walmart? Just hit me up on IG, Flips for Miles. A lot of fake accounts, but just add Flips for Miles, the one that has the active stories. You'll see it on there.
you can also just shoot a message support at
True.
boxom.com. We'll get you in the
Also,
beta.
that. Yeah. Now that I think about it, they would be totally be down with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're just gonna ask support to get you all wired up. So if you guys want the Walmart beta, just shoot us an email there and let us know if you're already selling on Walmart. How do you find out if they're a third party seller? On the
I'll pop up
listing
an
somewhere, it'll
example.
say like
Yeah.
sold by somebody's random company name, like Amazon. Um, but yeah. Alicia also said, when you're doing retail arbitrage, how do you prove authenticity if Amazon asks? Yeah, so you can still use retail arbitrage receipts to prove that it's real, right? Because if you show, hey, Amazon, we bought this at TJ Maxx, we bought this at Walmart, that kind of thing, that still proves that it's legitimate.
Yep. So this is sold and shipped by Walmart. So this is good to go. This is sold and shipped by a third party seller. So this is one where we have no way to tell if it's legit.
Yeah, and a lot of times you'll see like terrible reviews too, especially when it's like way too like really really cheap, like reseller friendly. You'll see a bunch of like 2-star storefronts on those third party sites.
And I can't manufacture enough margin to make it profitable. Well, so Bobby, we know you can because other people are doing it. Right. So then it's just, going through that whole checklist we had in there and stuff is going to make sense with that in mind. It could just be that there's been no holidays the past month. And a few of the websites you looked at are sales where the margin is manufactured or are websites where the margin's manufactured via sales, you know?
Yeah, good habit to get into while everybody's learning is just start writing down. Anytime you look at a website, write down whatever the sale was that day. And then over time, you'll start building an awesome database of knowing when certain websites are cheaper than normal. Then you double down and focus on those AutoUngates or focus on stuff you can just get a quick invoice from the website. Start getting that feel for when certain items become cheap. And you're saying you're a few weeks in and it's not making sense. That's fine, right? You're a few weeks into starting something that takes people years to master. Um, so yeah, it's totally normal to just be learning things right now. The big thing is the manufacturing margin, like you're talking about, though. Let's see.
Best Buy.
He's,
Yes. Yeah. All big retailers. So Best Buy is totally going to work. Use for Leon drop in game. Yes. Yeah. That's a good
yeah,
place to start, man. Yeah, it's going to give you ideas. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be a very good place to start. For that. Good point. Very good point.
yeah. There is third party sellers on Best
Best
Buy
Buy,
now too.
true.
So
Yeah.
yeah, heads up on that. Target has some. Kmart, as I learned a couple days ago.
Sure. So that helpful. Thank you guys. Chris Grant send me your way and love when I'm here. Yeah, no, Alicia, you dropped some very good tips there in the chat. So everyone here is very thankful to have you here for those tips you've been dropping. Can I use the same box? You can reuse boxes for FBA. You can't reuse boxes for FBM unless they're unbranded, which in that case you can. But then just clarify, no in-store receipts for ungating. They can be used for inauthentic complaints, IP complaints, etc. And then for online arbitrage, you can use them for everything. Can I use Boxom to ship products from China? No, not that I know of. So not for private label, but for
Because the
arbitrage, you shouldn't
carrier
be
labels
buying
are
stuff from
different.
China. Yeah, they're not going to be legit. Yeah.
Um, For sure. What should the limit on number of reviews your storefront stock? And yeah, good question, man. Usually the best case is going to be stores that are similar to yours. So if you have 100 feedback stores. If you're brand new, probably other brand new sellers. And I'll storefront stock pretty much anyone if there's not like if they don't have like a ton of reviews though. Usually if it has like a ton of reviews, it's a lot more likely to have like exclusive distribution accounts or something like that going on. Ordered some grocery from Target, automatically getting canceled. Tried both times still.
Hit up their
Uh,
customer service.
Buying from Target, yeah, you can hit up Target, especially if you only bought 10 units. They think they just like are confused about something with your card or something, most likely. Because you do have to buy a lot more than that to get banned from Target. Although Target is a little ban happy if you go crazy. But don't worry about like website bans and stuff until you run into it. You might as well always make the amount of money you can make until they start canceling orders and then like move on to the next one there. And then I also just want to show you guys on the shipping boxes and stuff. So use whatever for FBA. If you guys plan on selling a bunch of something via FBM, think something you're going to carry a bunch of during Q4 or something like that. You can get like the perfect size boxes from Uline to save on shipping costs overall. So like if you're buying 100 of this, like at the same time and you're planning to FBM all of them, I'd go to Uline and get like 12-inch by 4-inch by 14-inch boxes. Right? It's like the perfect size, so you pay as little shipping cost as possible. Basically just look at it as part of the cost of goods sold of the product.
Yeah, if you just Google Chris Grant Prep Center list, you'll see it on there.
Sweet. Any other questions? Appreciate all you guys
Yeah,
popping
seriously,
on in.
guys, thank
Good
you
good
very
vibes
much
tonight.
for coming. This is exactly what I wanted. You guys made it even better than we did, like totally better than we did on our own by putting tons of good game in the chat, and everything. So thank you guys very much. For that, this we want Boxom all to be about sellers winning together and everything. So that was love. So yeah, we're excited to keep building, Boxom with and for you guys here and everything. And this was a great session tonight, and we really really appreciate all you guys tuning in here and everything. So thanks a lot, y'all.
Yeah, and if you guys need any help on the Boxum side, you can just email support, or if you guys have any suggestions for things you'd love to see adding, just shoot us a Discord message or message support as well. We're always happy to take suggestions and stuff, and want to make it as good as possible for you guys.
Cool. All
Awesome.
right, sweet. So yeah, thanks a lot, y'all. Signing off right now. Y'all have a great night. Thanks a lot, guys.
See you guys. Appreciate you.
Have a good one.